public have been swept away. Um, Segan Akinola finally admitting that, yeah, he too is leaving with, Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker. And can you blame him? He was, like Jodie, he was tried, convicted, and, basically hammered to a cross or being burned at the stake, whichever you prefer, before the first episode even came out. And it's kind of sad to hear, but at the same time, and of course now the Murray Gold rumors are going to pop back up because now that Chibnall and, now that RTD and, Julie Gardner and all them are back in charge, they're going to coax him back out of, retirement or whatever and get him back on the show. Um, and he'll be demonized too, like all the guys, back in the day towards the end of the series, the classic series. Yeah, it's on Twitter today. Yeah, he announced that the centenary special will be his last bit for Doctor Who. So if you go look at his Twitter account, he left a bit about that today. Plus, apparently, it was in various places. But like I said, he'll be demonized. He'll be locked in with the evil regime that quote unquote nearly destroyed Doctor Who, despite the fact that it caused the BBC to have record gains for the last year. I just don't understand this whole phenomenon anymore. I really don't. And trust me, like I said, there's times when I do, think, why am I still doing this? Because the folks who are out there dooming and glooming, spreading, despair and just utter errant nonsense, are getting tens of thousands of views, tens of thousands of followers. Yet I sit here and tell the truth and try to keep a level head, and I don't know. You just got to keep moving forward. That's all I got to say. And some of the things these folks say, like I said, I showed you some of this stuff yesterday. Just complete, utter crap. Like, I've had people on this channel when I started talking about Mega Dum Dum and all that, and all the rest of them, and they'd sit there and say her channel's still pretty great. Just like, dude, she was calling Neil Patrick Harris a diversity hire because he's gay. Disregard the fact he's got over 30 years of stage and screen, television, movie appearances. Throw all that out the door. Got, Emmys, Grammys, countless nominations, and no, that doesn't qualify. Well, we got the centenary special first. Don't forget about that. And that'll be coming up in October. But a lot of people are worried that, the Jodie's endings being overshadowed and all that. But I'm like, you can't avoid it because you don't want too much getting out to the media at this point, because the BBC have made that mistake countless times. Yeah, Doogie Howser, MD. That's what you're thinking, Crusader. Yeah. But his career blossomed into so much more than that. Between all the stuff he's done, since then. Will he use an American accent? Don't know. Yeah, I have this eerie feeling they've probably dragged Murray Gold out of retirement. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Because with the amount of money you're talking about, I'd die laughing if hey Eccleston, what? I got $1 million if you appear in this special. Would he honestly turn it down? It's a strong possibility that, like I said, I'm hearing conflicting stories on what's going on with that particular aspect of what's going on, but you have to remember, RTD is going to be stepping in, so we can only assume that they're going to hint at whatever's going to happen at the end of the centenary. Like I said, one story I've heard, and this would explain why, briefly, we've seen Matt Smith in his old hairdo. We've seen Peter Capaldi with Rachel Tulloway a while back in Cardiff. And, of course, we have Tennant running around already. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they do the degeneration bit, because it would fall in line with the storyline of the Meeps and all that. There's a lot of speculation, though, going on about that. I really don't want to go on too much, because there's too many people saying, well, he's the toy maker and he's going to fiddle with the Doctor's regeneration and cause this to happen. Well, who knows with RTD in charge? But what gets me is how, for years, they were going on about how, the excuse was we're not bringing too much back from the classic series because it would be too much nostalgia. None of the newer audience would know who anyone is, yet we're starting off with an entire special based off a comic book. Never got into the Doctor Who comics. I had someone, had me read one a long time ago. And the main reason I know about them is because things I've read about them since then. So, I'm just having one of those weird droopy mornings. Everybody remember the character Droopy, 75 degrees out here and the sun's not even up. It is absolutely balmy. I heard the weather's going to take a dump on us later. I really hope it rains like hell, because we haven't had a whole lot of it since, the other day, and it's going to kind of suck, though, because I got to finish working on that one rain gutter. And trust me, I have a fear of heights. No, what I think's going to happen is, there was one thing I've heard where Jodie's going to start to regenerate. You're going to see a hint of Segan Akinola, maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Then it's going to fade back to Jodie. Then it's going to fade back to Capaldi. Then it's going to fade back to Matt Smith. And then you're going to see David Tennant. At least that's one story I've heard. And that would seem to fit with the comic book references and things I've seen going around. Sorry, you're right. Thank you. Shooty Gatwa. I got my names mixed up. I'm a little bit emotional today because Segan Akinola's leaving. So thank you very much for that. I'm sorry. Then so you're going to see Shooty Gatwa. Then it's going to fade back to Jodie, and then it's going to fade back to Peter Capaldi, then to Matt Smith, then to David Tennant. Someone was going on the other day about something, I can't remember what it was. About thing in David Bradley, David Warner, and all that. I'm like, well, no, Eccleston's appearing with David Warner in a Big Finish audio. It's going to be the Unbound Doctor thing. Now, if I said that again later, I'm sorry. It's just, I got a little excited that morning. But, yeah, it feels like Jacksonville here right now. I'm not kidding. I remember waking up to mornings like this when I was a kid when we were visiting, the relatives down south, down towards southern Mississippi. And, ugh. No, I wouldn't believe the whole Mel thing was based off a line that was recorded and supposedly, what do you call it, Catherine Tate is saying, what about Mel? And Jacksonville's Mississippi, right? Oh, Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, I'm thinking of Pascagoula, sorry. Because we'd go down there, we'd spend some time, then we'd go down to my one great uncle's place in Pascagoula, which was on the Florida, right down there in the very southern bit, right on the Gulf of Mexico, Mississippi. Yeah, Jacksonville, Florida, yeah. And when we'd slip over to Florida every now and then just to, been a couple times we went over to Florida from there. My one uncle had worked for the Pascagoula Naval Shipyard, and we'd go fishing right there, right off the shipyard. It was kind of weird because we'd be out there, we'd be fishing in his boat. You'd look over, there'd be a couple of nuclear submarines. Well, they were the older, beginning of the run deal. They weren't like the big big ones or anything. They were old attack submarines. The coolest part was when we were there, a couple of the hydrofoils were there, and a lot of people don't know about them. The Pegasus hydrofoils that were the Navy built. There's only like a dozen of them. They ended up getting shipped off to the down there to fight along with the DEA and all that. Look them up, the Pegasus hydrofoil. There was the Pegasus, the Aquila, and I can't remember how many were in that class, but these things could do up to 50 knots on water. Well, not literally on water, because they rise up out of the water. And it was so frickin' cool. Okay. Sorry, I missed a few comments there. Okay, you commented on one of the Leak Guys videos defending the Centenary, which has it all. So Leak Guys already going off on the Centenary, and it hasn't even aired yet. See, that's another classic example. I don't know what I'm doing wrong because I've been on YouTube for years, and yet these days I'm lucky if I see 500 views on a video. It's just, I kind of relaxed off it more than anything. It just, so I'd love to see the numbers go up more than anybody, but at the same time I don't try not to really worry about it. Well, folks, it is about that time, because I just looked at the clock. So take care of yourselves out there. Be kind, be calm, be safe. Remember, above everything else, please be kind. And, take care of yourselves and those around you. And hopefully we'll see you all in the future. Good day, everybody.